Here in this video we will showcase our pick on the most iconic and most memorable terrestrial war machines that have ever appeared in science fiction works, whether it be games, movies or even shows. So let's get to it. At number 10 we have the M577 Armored Personnel Carrier. The M577 Armored Personnel Carrier from the movie Aliens is one of the most well-known vehicles in science fiction because of its realistic design and the huge popularity of the film. It was used by the Colonial Marines. The M577 is a fast-wheeled troop transport which was built to carry soldiers safely into dangerous combat zones and support them with onboard weapons and sensor systems. Unlike flashy or over-futuristic vehicles, this one looks heavy, boxy and practical, making it feel like a real military machine rather than a fantasy invention. Its ability to be dropped into battle by a dropship, carry a full squad of Marines and act like a mobile command center adds to its importance in the story. The cramped interior, the armored windows and the industrial look help make the world of Aliens feel believable and gritty. Because Aliens became a classic science fiction film, the M577 has remained famous for this reason, and its design is responsible for influencing later sci-fi vehicle appearances. Number 9. The M35 Mako. This one comes from Mass Effect and it was designed as a small but tough infantry fighting vehicle. The Mako is carried aboard an Alliance ship and is deployed onto almost any planet for exploration and combat. For millions of players of Mass Effect, the Mako wasn't just a vehicle, it was their main way of discovering alien worlds, climbing steep mountains, fighting enemies and surviving harsh environments. Its cramped interior, heavy armor and powerful cannon, and the ability to traverse almost any terrain made it feel like a rugged, dependable machine. While sometimes difficult to control, this rough handling became part of its personality and charm, making the Mako memorable rather than forgettable. Because players spent so much time driving it across strange planets in Mass Effect, the Mako instantly became a familiar companion in the minds of these players. Number 8. The HK Tanks. The HK tank from the Terminator series of movies is a unique and frightening war machine that became famous because it perfectly represents Skynet's cold, merciless war against humanity. Unlike normal tanks, the HK tank, or hunter-killer tank, has a strange humanoid shape, at least with the upper torso, with a rotating head and mechanical arms and a massive set of tread legs, which makes it feel more like a walking robot than a vehicle, even though it was kind of wheeled. Because it was actually a robotic hunter-killer as well. Its first appearance in the Terminator movie and later films showed it crushing human skulls and firing into the darkness, creating unforgettable images of a future where machines rule the battlefield. The popularity of the Terminator movies made these scenes iconic, and the HK tank became a symbol of cybernetic post-apocalyptic horror. Because it combined advanced technology, relentless machine logic, and the terrifying idea of humans being hunted in a devastated world, the HK tank remains one of the most memorable and recognizable war machines in science fiction history. Number 7. The Siege Tank. This one from Starcraft is one of the most famous and recognizable vehicles in real-time strategy games because of its unique ability to switch between two powerful combat modes. In its normal tank mode, it acts as a mobile armored unit that supports troops on the battlefield, and it's not really that memorable, but its true fame comes from its devastating siege mode. See, when deployed, the siege tank locks onto place and transforms into a long-range artillery platform, firing massive shells across huge distances and destroying enemies before they can get close, which is mainly the Terrans, the Zergs and the other Protoss. The siege tank became even more iconic because through Blizzard Entertainment's cinematic trailers and cutscenes, it showed that these machines were deployed with thunderous force and could crush enemy armies easily. At a time when YouTube was new and game trailers were fresh, flashy and widely shared, these visuals left a strong impression on players, mainly because of Blizzard Entertainment's very well made trailers. Because of its memorable design as well, its powerful siege mode and unforgettable appearance in Blizzard's trailers, the siege tank became a true symbol of Starcraft and a classic war machine in science fiction gaming. Number 6. The Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts in Warhammer 40k are famous because they are both war machines and also living tombs. A dreadnought is created when a mortally wounded space marine is entombed inside a massive armored sarcophagus, allowing him to continue fighting for centuries or millennia as a walking engine of war. Slow, heavily armored and armed with devastating weapons, dreadnoughts feel ancient and unstoppable, like metal giants awakened only for the Imperium's most desperate battles. Because Warhammer 40k became hugely influential across games, books and art, dreadnoughts left a lasting mark on science fiction design. Many later mechas and powered walkers from different settings brought their walking tank look rather than copying elegant anime-style mechas. This influence can be clearly seen in settings like Helldivers, where the heavy infantry mechs echo the same brutal and practical design philosophy, which is squat frame, heavy armor, visible weapon mounts, and the feeling of mass and weight. Dreadnoughts helped popularize the idea that mechs should look oppressive, functional, and terrifying instead of graceful. Number 5. The M808B Scorpion from Halo. So this Scorpion tank from Halo has become instantly recognizable mainly due to its unique design in a game that has sold more than 81 million copies worldwide, and also, to be honest, millions more in pirated CDs and DVDs back in the 2000s. Halo, first of all, is one of the most successful games ever, and its storyline is still running till this day. This unique tank design thus became popular and iconic due to the popularity of the franchise. The Scorpion uses a tall, almost boxy frame mounted on 4 large independent treads and gives it a rugged industrial look that feels practical but futuristic. Its turret sits high above the hull and carries a powerful main cannon and paired with a coaxial machine gun, which makes it effective against both vehicles and infantry. This raised profile gives the Scorpion excellent battlefield visibility and a strong visual presence, even if it looks unconventional compared to real-world tanks. Because players spend so much time driving and fighting in the Scorpion across the Halo games, its chunky shape, loud cannon blasts, and unstoppable feel have made it one of the most well-known tanks in science fiction. Number 4. The All-Terrain Scout Transport. The ATST, or the All-Terrain Scout Transport, is one of the most recognizable ground vehicles not just in Star Wars but in sci-fi as a whole, and actually looks quite similar to the Sentinels of 40K as well. These here are instantly recognizable, especially for older generations, millennials and before that, because of their unusual bipedal design and its memorable role in The Return of the Jedi. They are taller than troops but smaller and faster than massive AT-ATs. The AT-STs look like mechanical predators with a boxy armored head mounted on 2 long jointed legs, kinda like an ostrich but without a head and a neck. Designed for scouting patrols and infantry support, the AT-STs were armed with blaster cannons and grenade launchers, and makes them deadly against foot soldiers and light vehicles. Their height allowed them to see over the terrain and vegetation, especially in forests and cities. They were immortalized in The Return of the Jedi, particularly in the Battle of Endor. Watching these towering machines stalk through the forest made them seem unstoppable at first, yet their eventual defeat by the Ewoks using traps, logs, stones, and primitive war gear and the environment showed a humorous tone in the movie's ending. Number 3. The Titans of Warhammer 40K. These here combine overwhelming power, size, deep lore, and unforgettable imagery. These gigantic humanoid machines, the God Engines, often towers tens to hundreds of feet tall, and they are piloted by princeps, who are mentally linked to the Titan and their machine spirit, which allows it to move and fight as if it were a living machine of war. Powered by immense plasma reactors and protected by immense void shields, the Titans are the most massive terrestrial war machines aside from a few of the Adeptus Mechanicus Ordinatus engines, and no other human weapon system in this setting can endure incredible damage while also at the same time unleash devastating weapons such as plasma cannons, massive guns, and powerful laser weapons that can destroy entire armies or cities. Their arrival on a battlefield inspires awe in allies and terror in the heart of the enemies, as only another Titan can truly oppose one. Titans are iconic because they appear repeatedly in Warhammer 40K game trailers, tabletop and board game campaigns, and on the cover of novels, where they are often shown striding across battlefields through smoke and fire like God Engines of War, because of their colossal size, religious importance, and let's be honest, mainly due to a cathedral on top of a giant war machine. The Imperial Titans have thus become legendary symbols of science fiction warfare taken to 11. Number 2. The Tripods from War of the Worlds. These are amongst the most iconic war machines in science fiction because they were one of the earliest and most terrifying images of alien technology ever imagined. Created by H.G. Wells in 1898, these gigantic 3-legged fighting machines towered over towns and cities, moving with an eerie, swaying walk that makes them feel both mechanical and alive. Each tripod is piloted by a Martian and armed with deadly weapons like the Heat Ray or the Death Ray, which can instantly destroy people, buildings and armies, and black smoke used to choke entire areas. Their long, flexible tentacles can grab humans, tear up trees, and carry victims in metal cages on their backs, which makes them symbols of fear and helplessness as well. What makes the tripods especially memorable is how they represent humanity facing a far more advanced enemy, showing how small and vulnerable humans can be against superior alien technology. Because of their unique design, 3 legs, terrifying power, and lasting influence on movies, books, and music, the tripods remain one of the most famous and unforgettable machines in all of science fiction. But no other sci-fi vehicle is more famous than the AT-AT, the all-terrain armored transport, which comes from none other than Star Wars. Towering over the battlefield on 4 massive armored legs, the AT-AT was designed to inspire fear as much as to destroy enemies as well. They are heavily armored and armed with powerful laser cannons mounted on its head. It could shrug off most blasts of fire while advancing relentlessly towards the enemies at a slow and gradual pace. Inside, it carried a full crew and transports dozens of stormtroopers, deploying them directly into combat zones to overwhelm enemy defenses. Its slow and unstoppable movement makes it feel less a vehicle and more like a walking fortress, perfectly reflecting the Empire's philosophy of control through intimidation. The AT-AT was cemented in popular culture mainly because of its unforgettable appearance in The Empire Strikes Back, especially during the Battle of Hoth. Seeing these gigantic walkers emerge from the snow and marching towards a rebel base create one of the most memorable battle scenes in movie history. The rebels struggling to stop them, eventually using clever tactics to trip the walkers down, made the AT-AT seem even more powerful and terrifying. This scene, brought to life with detailed stop-motion animation, has now left a lasting impression on audiences on many generations and defined the visual identity of ground warfare in sci-fi. And so with that, we end this video on the 10 most iconic terrestrial war machines or vehicles in sci-fi. Now with that, we come to the end of the video. Do hit the like button for support, and also for the ones holding their phones in their hands, if you see the hype option, then press it to push this content further. Also subscribe to be a part of Legion Nutbug, and till the next time, take care, boys.